It's Jim and Sydney. We're back with another episode.
And this time we're going to cover the use of website images and illustrations.
Everyone that has ever seen anything about building a website has been told that images make a site stand out. Appropriately organized, the use of images and illustrations can be thought-provoking. Inappropriately inserted, visual appeal is lost, and so is the likelihood that viewers will lose interest and leave the site. According to some self-proclaimed experts, placing an image on a page just to fill up space or adding it just to be decorative accomplishes nothing. They claim that these images draw no attention whatsoever, that is, the viewer ignores them.
Yes, that is mostly correct. Your images need to be informative, whether photos or graphic designs.
They should aid in telling the story and not distract your viewers' attention. Remember, you only have a few seconds to gain their interest. So don't waste it on a picture that has nothing to do with or is unrelated to the content. But at the same time, if it is an illustration that is thematic and creates interest, in our opinion, the image doesn't have to be viewed as precise content in graphic form. This premise doesn't mean that you should include a picture just to have one. Graphic elements should help to tie everything together. An example of this premise is this pinwheel graphic shown here. It is an illustration that may not replicate the exact written words of the subject. However, it did gain your attention, and thematically does emulate the topic graphically. As was mentioned in the prior episode, the proper use of text and whitespace is essential. And if the page only consists of these two elements, one probably has a very lifeless looking page. By the way, if you like our content, please support us by subscribing, and give us a like. And please leave a comment. Getting back to our topic, here are some of the considerations when using an image or illustration. First, what will be the impression or response to the image? Will the graphic help the viewer understand your message? Does the image correlate to your brand and focus audience? Will the image create a positive personal visualization for the viewer? Is the image aiding in explaining the point that you are trying to make? And finally, does the image present the concept to elicit a favorable opinion and decisive action by the viewer? That is a great deal to think about just to apply when choosing images and illustrations, isn't it? When using illustrations, the generally accepted thought is that if they include people, there tends to be a more positive reaction, particularly if the subjects are smiling or appear to be happy. Another belief concerning photos emphasizes the importance of using images that demonstrate or illustrate the concept of a product or service.
This type of application specifically indicates the usability of the product or service. Simply stated, if the photo delivers the who, what, when, where, and the why, then it has succeeded.
Finally, make sure that they are in RGB format. RGB stands for the red, green and blue color system used on a device screen, which is the best format for screen graphics.
The next topic deals with understanding the difference between image dimension versus file size.
Adobe, one of the recognized authorities on editing digital imagery, states that nearly 40% of site visitors click away if the images take too long to load, or do not load at all. Given that most content consists heavily of images, photos and illustrations, and that nearly 65% of all page content consists of them, it is understandable why this is the assumption. We covered to some extent the type of file types to use in the section titled Beware of Photo and Video Problems. As cited in that section, save your images only in JPEG, JPG, PNG or GIF format for best results. If you have a source file that is different from these, use a file converter to modify the file to one of them. When dealing with images, we want to have a measured balance between the proper size and the resolution. Naturally, file size is significant for images. The larger the image file is, the longer it will take to load the image and the page.
We'll discuss this at greater length in other sections, so we'll move on for the time being to the subject of resolution. So how do we define the properties of image resolution?
As a matter of practice, image resolution on the internet uses the reference known as PPI, which stands for pixels per inch, also referred to as pixel density. For those more familiar with the metric system, it would be ppcm, or pixels per centimeter. This image is a sample of what extremely low resolution or PPI would represent. Consequently, higher resolutions have a higher number of pixels per inch. A higher resolution count also represents that the image file has more pixel information, yielding a crisper, better quality image. The reasoning follows that if a pixel image file is 500 pixels per inch, the pixels are smaller and have more impure numbers than for a 72 pixel image file. The 72 pixel image has considerably larger individual pixels in the same amount of area per inch, resulting in an image that is substantially less sharp or defined, as would the 500 pixel image. By the way, from the dawn of personal computers, 72 pixels were thought to be the optimal resolution for monitors. That's wrong. Most computer monitors or smartphones in existence today have screen resolutions considerably higher than 72 ppi. As early as 2020, over 52% of all computer screen resolutions are 1366 by 768 or higher. That means the average laptop with an actual screen width of 16 inches set at that dimension has a resolution of 85.38. Surprisingly, even an iPhone 7 has a resolution of 1334 by 750, which is 326, and well beyond the old myth of 72 pixels. And the iPhone 13 has a resolution of 2532 by 1170 pixels, which is 460 pixels per inch. Contrary to this myth, do not concern yourself about importing your images at 72 pixels. It has nothing to do with the size of the image as it appears on the screen. But it can be manipulated to adjust the image file size, as we will show later. Also, counterintuitive as it may seem, the pixel density of an image file does not drastically affect its on-screen appearance. At this point, there may be some confusion as to what is the difference between image dimensions and file size.
So what is the relationship between image dimension versus its file size?
The term image dimension refers to the width and height in pixels on a screen, while file size refers to the space that an image file consumes on a computer or server. To simplify the distinction, associate the term image dimension as if applied to a photo, say an 8 by 10 glossy. The image dimension is the size of the image as it appears on the screen of a digital device, for example, the two images shown here. They are both 383 by 476 pixels.
By the way, the first dimension is always the width and the second the height.
But pixels dimension does not tell how large of a file it is, it just indicates how many pixels the image takes up on the screen. The 72 pixel image has a file size of 9.8 kilobytes, and the 500 pixel one is 60.8 kilobytes. They look identical and have the same screen dimensions, however the file sizes are drastically different, just like the resolution. The term file size corresponds to, or parallels the real weight of a physical object. For example, the actual material weight of an 8 by 10 glossy is about 6 grams. Grams, ounces or pounds are the measuring units for items like the actual physical photo, or maybe a ham sandwich. However, a digital file uses a different type of measure. There are quite a few units of measurement used to weigh the size of a digital file, or to define how much space a digital file takes up on a computer drive. Here are the most commonly used measures and their abbreviations: kilobytes, KB, megabytes, MB, gigabytes, GB, and terabytes, TB. The basic measured unit of computer information is the byte, spelled BYTE, which consists of 8 continuous binary digits known as bits, or BITS. And each byte is formed by a series of zeros and ones. A byte typically represents a single character like a letter of the alphabet, a punctuation mark, or number. For example, the binary code for the letter capital A is 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1.
To get an understanding of the varying sizes of these units of computer files or images, here are the size relationships between the various units.
1024 bytes equals 1 kilobyte. 1024 kilobytes equals 1 megabyte. 1024 megabytes is 1 gigabyte. 1024 gigabytes equals 1 terabyte. And finally, 1024 terabytes is an enormous unit called a petabyte, abbreviated as a PB.
There are others, but their application is minimal.
Thanks for watching, and look for the next episode that deals with the importance of file size and quicker page loading. See you then. To get the entire printed series, click the download link in the description below for our free ebook. Also, don't forget to subscribe and give us a like. We appreciate your support. And please leave a comment. Stay with us to see some of the other episodes in this series. The one on the left is the prior episode, which covers simple methods of good web design. And the one on the right, which deals with other aspects of website building. Thanks for watching.